What a moment. Welcome back. On the line now is legendary four-time Grammy winner, Seal. How are you, Seal?
I'm great, Darren. How are you?
I'm doing well. That was an intense moment. You had an impressive run on The Masked Singer. What was the whole experience like for you?
It was a lot of fun. Obviously, I got to see life from a slightly different perspective. I got to not be Seal and assume this alter ego of the Leopard. And I also got to see how people related to me without knowing it was me, of course. So that was really interesting.
How did it
My
yeah,
who I was. They weren't fooled for 1 second.
Well, it's hard because you have such a good voice. If you were a bad singer, maybe it would have been easier to mask.
Thank you.
How did it compare to other performances or tours in your career?
Well, the main difference was that I looked like a drag queen, so that was interesting. And now I know I'll make a good drag queen. So I guess that if there's anything, that's one benefit that came from it. How does it compare? Well, I wasn't playing myself. I was playing this alter ego called the Leopard, and it was all very kind of tongue-in-cheek. Whereas when I am touring, the whole point of what I'm trying to do is connect with myself and reveal myself. And I guess with this, I was concealing who I was.
Well, you play a sexy drag queen, Seal. That's all I'm going to say.
A sexy drag queen.
You could do it.
You know, if I ever go down that road, I will say that you, Darren, endorsed it. And so how wrong can it be?
Exactly. Well, you were in this like regal, royal leopard outfit. You know, where did this persona come from? And did you get to pick the leopard costume?
It was a collective effort with the wonderful art department at The Masked Singer. Just a big round of applause to them because they really went to town on it. And so once in terms of where the persona came from, well, I guess I now understand why some artists choose a doppelganger, why they will kind of assume these different characters, because when you put the costume on, you can't help but assume a character. I mean, I'd look pretty ridiculous wearing a costume like that and just speaking as Seal, wouldn't I?
I agree. It would have been, it's pretty funny though. You know, you said that you couldn't fool anyone, but what did you make of some of the panelist guesses? You know, we had Billy Porter, Jamie Foxx, even Jeff Goldblum last night. What did you make of it?
Yeah,
I
think that was an interesting parody. I don't know whether Kim really thought that I was Jeff Goldblum. It was fun, and they figured out who I was. Jenny did, and certainly Robin did, but they figured it out. And so, see, initially, I was concerned about them knowing who I was because I thought, well, of course they'll recognize my voice. So I made a concerted effort to conceal my voice in the first 2 rounds. But then it became like a juggling act, doing choreography, trying to sing in this like heavily restrictive costume. I couldn't see because my line of sight was through the actual jaw of the mask of the leopard. And so I was just trying to kind of, get through it without falling off the stage. And so that's when I started not to try to disguise my voice as much. And then they figured out it was me. But it was fun, trying to trick them for the rest of the duration.
Well, you put on some hell of a performance. In your clue package last night, you mentioned going on the show so your cubs would think you're cool. So what's the verdict?
My cubs. Well, the cubs is a term that they came up with, leopard cubs.
Of course.
Yeah, I thought I figured, look, it was a chance to kind of, do something lighthearted to make a fool of myself. And these days I try and jump at every opportunity to do precisely that. My son, who I watched last night's episode with, my eldest son, Henry, he wasn't fooled for 1 second. In actual fact, I was the second reveal and he didn't want it to be me because he wanted me to, because, he was so convinced it was me and he wanted me to continue, to the finale.
So do the children think you're the coolest dad in the world now, or are they like judging you for your performance?
No, of course they don't. I mean, well, if they do, they certainly don't let me know about it. But then that's, that's what they're supposed to do. They can never let me think I'm
Of course.
cool.
Keeps
You
you
know,
keeps you humble,
it's
Seal.
supposed to
Keeps
keep
you
me on my
humble.
toes.
Of
Although
course.
my son, I have to say, Henry does, and they all do actually. I don't know if they let me know I'm cool. They just let me know that they love me.
Well, I mean, that's the most important of all. How is co-parenting going with Heidi, actually?
Co-parenting?
Yeah.
Well, you how is co-parenting going? That's an interesting question. I never really think of it as co-parenting. You just kind of you do what you're supposed to do as a parent, and as long as they are happy, as long as you see the children thriving and doing well in school and feeling confident, doing well in life. More importantly, as long as they are happy, then I guess the answer to your question is it's going really well. But you know, it's not the easiest gig in the world, is it, parenting? Because it's the one gig that you're not afforded the luxury of mistakes.
Amen to that. Well, Heidi actually brought you on to America's Got Talent 2 years ago, I believe. Would you ever consider being part of the judge panel in the future?
No, no. I just think things like that are ridiculous. What am I going to do? Sit up there and tell people and critique people? No, and that's not something I particularly enjoy doing. I like coaching. I coached on the Australian version of The Voice for its first 2 years running. And I was really, really, really fortunate to be able to sort of be part of the development lives of these young artists. And that's something I really enjoyed doing. But judging or critiquing is no. There's zero. There's my interest in that.
You got a good coaching, good mentorship, Seal. You've got going
Coaching,
on.
I love coaching. I love because it's connecting, isn't it? And it's helping people to reach their full potential. If you feel that you can see the path of least resistance for them. I love that aspect. I love the idea of coaching and mentoring. I'm very, very enthusiastic about that.
Well, you're a good dad. It all makes sense. It has been an honor to have you on our show today, Seal. Thank you so much for your time.